Wel, shwmae pawb and croeso y coginio ar y hyd. Hello everyone and welcome to the cook along. My name is Richard and heddiw, today, we're going to be making some wonderful muffins ffrwythau, some fruit muffins, which as you can see from the ones that I made earlier, look absolutely fantastic, smell adorably nice, and in the words of my West Walian friends, are absolutely cowin lush. So let's get cracking with today's recipe, and I'm hoping that if you're cooking along you have now got all of your ingredients, but if you haven't, don't panic, because the ingredients list has hopefully, if my computer skills are working today, just come up on the side for us just over there. It would help if I press the button, wouldn't it? There we go, it's just come up on the screen for us just there. These live sessions are, something always goes wrong. So let's get cracking with today's session. And whenever I'm making muffins or cakes or scones or anything like that, I like to split my recipe into the dry ingredients, or in Welsh, cynhwysion sych, and then the wet ingredients, which would be our cynhwysion gwlyb. Okay, so let's get started with our dry ingredients, and as you can see on the recipe card just there, you're going to need 125 grams of self-raising flour, you're going to need 50 grams of white caster sugar, and you're going to need 3 dessert spoons of our oat or our porridge oats just there. And I've chosen to add porridge oats to our muffins today because it's going to make it slightly healthier, because they're jam-packed full of fibre, which is going to help us keep us fuller for longer, but also help to keep the food moving around in our bodies. So let's get cracking with our weighing and measuring. And as you know, there's lots of ways of weighing and measuring. Ideally, at home, you'd have some sort of weighing scales, right, to measure your 125 grams. But if you haven't, don't panic, because another way that I measure my flour is I always do it in dessert spoons. So it's the middle size sort of pudding spoon that you're looking for, and 1 heaped spoonful just like that. If I take that down, you should be able to see it in the screen now. 1 heaped spoonful just like that is equal to about 25 grams. So using my maths, you're going to need approximately 5 heaped dessert spoons just like that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've got 5 just there, right, because I pre-measured it earlier. So I've got all of those just in there, and as I said, it's self-raising flour, but don't panic if you don't have self-raising and you've only got plain in the house. All you need is 125 grams of plain flour and just a teaspoon of your baking powder, and that will still help your muffins to do that rising when it goes in the oven. The next thing you need is your 50 grams or 3 heaped dessert spoons of your caster sugar. So 1, 2, and 3 just goes in there. I'm not going to waste any of that. And the last thing that you need is your 3 heaped spoonfuls of your porridge oats, and that's all of your dry ingredients then done. So you can see just in my bowl just there, I've got my flour, my sugar and my porridge oats, and I can now put that to the side and we can worry about the rest of the ingredients. Now I'm decided today to make some blueberry muffins. You could use though whatever fruits you want. Raspberry muffins are really nice. I often do blueberry and raspberry. You could chain swap that for a mashed banana. You could use grated apple and sultana. You can do literally whatever your favourite sort of fruit is. I've just got 75 grams of frozen blueberries just there, and I love using frozen fruit because obviously it stores in the freezer, so it's always there, but more importantly you can just pull out as much as you need for the particular recipe that you're doing, and I love them at breakfast time as well. So I've got my fruit ingredients just there, and the last thing that I need is an egg, and I've just realised that my egg is in the fridge, so bear with me just 1 second. So I'm just going to grab my egg from the fridge, and I know there'll be people watching today who will tell me that we don't want to store eggs in the fridge, but I tend to store them just in there anyway, right? So we've got that egg just there. We also, for our wet ingredients, we need some llaeth, some milk and we also need some olive as well. But the first thing we're going to do is, into a small bowl or a jug, you're going to crack your egg. Now then, when it comes to cracking eggs, there are so many different ways of cracking eggs, okay? And when you're on television, you've probably seen them cracking an egg on the table. I've seen them do it on the side like that. But you're more likely, when you crack it like that, to get some shell into the mixture. So what you want to do is, and how I teach it, is hold it in your hand just like it's in a little cradle. Then, using the handle of the fork or a table knife, you're just going to do one swoop. Then you can get your thumbs in and open it up. So let me show you. So you do one little swoop just like that. You can then get your thumbs in, and by doing it like this, it'll pop out. You're less likely to get some shell into the mixture. And then what you need to do straight after that is just give your hands a little wash. Okay. Then the next thing is, we have got our milk or our llaeth and our olive, and for our llaeth we need 7 dessert spoons. Okay, so we've got a llwy pudding just there, dessert spoon, and I'd like to put it into a separate container because then I can make sure that I'm getting full spoonfuls, right? Don't be half a job. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's my milk, and then I need 4 or 4 spoonfuls of olive, and this is just bog standard sort of vegetable oil. You don't have to buy any sort of expensive oil for this, and in actual fact vegetable oil is quite good because it's the second press of the rapeseed grain, so it's still high in those good fats, right? So we got those just there. So I'm now ready. We have got our cynhwysion sych, our wet dry ingredients. We've got our cynhwysion gwlyb, our wet ingredients, and we've got our ffrwythau, our fruit just there. So before I start to assemble that, make sure now that your oven has been preheated to 180 degrees centigrade if you are on a fan oven, 190 if it's a conventional oven, or gas mark 4/5 if you're on a gas oven, right? So once you've done that, we can then worry about sort of our muffin tray and assembling these. So I'm just going to use this little metal tray today, and I like to use these little muffin cases as well because it prevents it from sticking. If you have got the flexible muffin molds, they're really good as well. Technically, you don't necessarily need the muffin cases, although you might want to add them, but make sure, my super handy hint is, make sure, I'm looking to see if I got one spare just over there, make sure that you've got to put it onto a baking tray before you put the muffin mixture in, because otherwise it'll go all over the place. So that's prepared. The next thing that I just need is a wooden spoon, and I'll pop my ingredients just over on the side like that, push that over so I've got lots and lots of space. So with my dry ingredients, I'm just going to give it, and joke alert, right, I'm just going to give it a little mix in one direction. Okay, did you get that? A little mix, as in the pop group, in one direction. Okay, so a little mix in one direction, and just make a little well in the center just like that. Then you're going to add the rest of your ingredients. So I've got my 70 grams of aeron glass, my 70 grams of blueberry, and I've got my cynhwysion gwlyb just going in there just as so. And then I'm going to give it another little mix in one direction. Now the difference with making a muffin to, say, a Victoria sponge mixture, right, is when you're making a sponge mixture, you want to beat it as much as possible to add lots of air so it aerates, right? However, a muffin, because we haven't got those equal proportions of ingredients, you don't have to mix it as much, because if you overmix it, it'll become quite tough, right? So it's a denser sort of mixture. So I'm just going to mix, as I said, in one direction, just until everything has been combined. So in one direction, just until everything has been mixed up just like that. And because these are frozen blueberries and they were slightly defrosted, you can see that my mixture has gone a lovely blue sort of purpley colour, and I promise you these are absolutely delicious. The last thing I've got is to get it into your spoon. We're not going to use our fingers to scrape it off, right? So I like to use 2 little spoons, okay? And the rule that I like to follow is you put a little bit on your spoon and then you scrape it off just like that. So you don't have to use your fingers. A little bit on your spoon and you scrape it off. A little bit on your spoon and then you scrape it off just like that. And you keep on going until you have filled all of your muffin cases. A little bit on your spoon and then you scrape it off. A little bit on your spoon and you scrape it off. A little bit on your spoon, you scrape it off, and you keep on going. So now that I've done that bit, I can go back around just as so, and I can make sure just 3/4 full. You don't want them overfilled because they'll start to erupt over the tray, right? But you want them about 3/4 filled. So I don't know how to fill that one. I've got a little bit left just in here, and I'll pop that just into there just as so, and I'll just top him up just there. So I've got all of that just there. I'm not going to lick the bowl, okay? So that goes just there. I'll just give that just a little tap, just allow it to sort of settle just on the table. And then these will then go into your preheated oven. As I said, 180 fan, 190 conventional oven, or gas mark 4/5, and they will cook for between 15 to 20 minutes until they are well risen, they're golden brown, and they're smelling arogly nice, really, really delicious. So I'm going to use my little oven towel just there to pop that straight into my oven. And as I said, when they come out, here are some that I made earlier. You can see that they will be well risen, golden brown in colour, and they really do smell absolutely fantastic. So let me just quickly wipe over my table area over just like that, and then we will be ready to serve them. So let's pop those just on there. When they come out of the oven, very, very carefully, and if you're a younger person, please make sure an adult is there to help you with this. You'll need to carefully take them out of the tin and just pop them either onto a little tray just like that, or ideally a little cooling wire. I didn't have one in the room earlier in the kitchen. So all I've done is pop them on a tray, and then you can pop them on just like that. So I've got those ones just there. I'll pop that one just there, and you can see that I have got my perfect little muffins right there, my fruit muffins. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed today's cook along. It's been wonderful showing you how to make these delicious muffins. Don't forget that all the recipe cards for all of the cook alongs that we are doing are available on the Facebook page as well as our website. All that leaves me to say is thank you once again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and cook in your happiness.